Hey, this is Monica from M&J Travels. Jay is not with me right now because he knows I'm going to talk about sort of a stinky topic. And really quickly, RVing can be expensive. We have a used rig, and our first rig was a little bit smaller. It was I think it was 34-foot Damon Challenger. We had bought it used, and now we've got our 40-footer. But anyways, RVing can be expensive. So our first camp trip that we took, we went to this place called Orr's Island in Maine. And it was a beautiful campground right on the water. And it was our first trip out. We were in our Damon Challenger. And we needed help with everything. Let's face it. We had no clue what we were doing. We just needed so much help. So one of the old timers, I call him, because he'd been camping there for years and he'd been around for a long time. He helped us with a lot of stuff, and he also said to me, hey, I'm going to give you the best advice you'll ever hear. Save yourself a fortune. And he proceeded to give me a homemade recipe for toilet holding tank chemicals. I hadn't bought any yet because the used rig had some left over from the previous owner. So I really didn't know the cost of it. And he said, it's really expensive. So he told me, he said, get a cup of whisk. Has to be the whisk. Don't ask me why. I'm not a chemist. I have no clue about any of this. But he says, get a cup of whisk, get a cup of pine sol, and then 2 tablespoons of clear ammonia. Mix it in a gallon jug with water. So that's a cup of whisk, a cup of pine sol, 2 tablespoons of clear ammonia, and water. And I put it in this after a while. I used to keep it in a gallon jug, drinking like water jug, which not a good idea. So he said, mix this up and then put a cup of this solution and another gallon of water down each tank. So I pretty well do that after we dump all the time. I put a cup and a gallon of water down our black tank. And then I kind of mix it up a little bit. I stick a little bit in the shower and in my sink, and half a gallon of water down each drain. It ends up going the same way, but somehow, I don't know, I just feel a little bit better doing it that way. And I've been using it ever since. I've never paid for chemicals at all. And it works. It works really good. Now, it isn't going to help you if you have any vent issues in your roof. You know how sometimes, because you get that vent pipe that comes out, and sometimes if you're driving in the wind and the wind blows it back in, or if you're using a whole house fan like we do, it can suck in some of those fumes. So that's not going to resolve that issue, because you're just going to make sure your vent's clear and it's not anywhere near where it's going to get sucked back in. But the tanks, they smell pretty good. So I learned my lesson really early on about keeping it in something that is identifiable as a chemical. So I use this empty jug of laundry detergent, but I used to use just a clear water jug that was empty. And in our Damon Challenger, we were always at a premium for space, so because it was much smaller, I used to store that in the shower stall. Well, one year we were camping in Bar Harbor, and we took the cat over to Nova Scotia. It was awfully rough. I got really sick. I got all zonked out on that Dramamine stuff. We came home, I took a shower, I remember moving it out, putting it on the counter in the motorhome, and then I fell asleep in the front of the motorhome on the couch. Sometime in the middle of the night, I woke up very thirsty, groggy, whatever, and I fumbled my way through the coach, and I saw the water jug sitting there, and I never, ever drink out of a water jug. But I picked it up, and I went, and I just jug-a-lugged like crazy, and then I realized I poisoned myself. So that was definitely an M&J misadventure, because he had to bring me to Bar Harbor to the hospital, and I had to explain what in the world was I drinking whisk, pine sol, and ammonia for. It wasn't an easy explanation. So, hey, that's an adventure. Try this solution. Again, I'm not a chemist. I have no idea, but this old timer told me that, and I've stuck with it all of these years. I'm sure it saved me a ton of money. So, Monica McGillicuddy, M&J Travels, NHRealtyScoops.com, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks.